Welcome to another edition of Tech News this week. Now, if you remember, India came out with a cybersecurity national policy way back in 2013. At that time, it was pretty good and revolutionary, but it's going to be 8 years since that. And since then, a lot of things have happened, and we probably had to upgrade ourselves. I mean, something like now cybersecurity national policy, if not annually, then at least it should be upgraded every 2 to 3 years. So 8 years is like a pretty long time. In fact, if you see in that time, we have upped our rivalry with China. And China is also a tech power, and they are using, state tools to hack. I mean, first it was you had bad state actors. Now you have states themselves indulging in hacking. In fact, something on that effect happened sometime back. Now, if you remember, first the National Stock Exchange was targeted, and then there were some problems with the power grid of Mumbai. Now, there were rumors that China-sponsored Red Echo was involved behind both hacking. So that is why it is due to internal factors, external factors, and also bad state actors that we need to update. There is, of course, there are the news is that there is central government is planning an upgrade. That is why it has come in the discussion. In fact, it's been a bad time for cybersecurity, and especially post COVID, it is gaining more and more importance. Like, for example, we have internet connected surveillance device maker Verkada that was hacked. Now, to see the scale of the hacking, they have 150,000 cameras which were affected. And these cameras include Tesla production plant, Cloudflare offices, hospitals, and prisons. So it is that big an issue. And also, if you see, like, one report came out by Cybersecurity Ventures, which says that 3.5 million global cybersecurity jobs may go unfulfilled in 2021. So cybersecurity is a burning issue. We are short of staff, so we need more staff. We need regular upgrades in cybersecurity policies. In fact, if you see offline security, we have really upped the game. In the latest round, India plans to purchase up to 30 General Atomics MQ-9 Reaper drones in a 3 billion deal. So we have to now similarly start concentrating on online security also, which is cyber security. So let's hope that in 2021, the government of India comes out with a very good comprehensive national cyber security policy, which will upgrade the 2013 one. Now, if you remember again, another theme is big tech versus big government. So Australia has been cracking down on Google, Facebook, and big tech. Like last few weeks, we have discussed that they are asking Google and Facebook to pay mainstream media for the content they're using. The law has come into force. They have given a grace period of 3 to 4 months to thrash out. But reports say they will have to pay if they want to continue in Australia. Now, Australia has also come out with a white paper that is looking at the default settings on pre-installed web browsers and search engines. Now, anything that is the default setting, anything that comes pre-installed, that has an advantage. So that is another thing. Like, for example, if you have iPhones and they come installed with Google Maps and Google Search, it does well. But what if Apple pre-installs Apple Search and Apple Maps? It will get. So depending on whatever it is, that, so the government is looking into all this, the Australian government, that is all these default settings. Russia also has had problems with Twitter. You may remember in the Indian farm protests, the Indian government was pretty livid with Twitter and asked for a lot of handles to be taken down. The same thing is happening in Russia. And due to non-compliance issues, Twitter services have been deliberately slowed down by the government. So they have, however, it seems that they've made a mistake. They targeted Twitter's URL shortening name, that is t.co. Now this has affected other sites which has a similar combination like reddit.com and microsoft.com. Now, in case you don't know, these are related to the political campaign of Vladimir Putin's rival Alexei Navalny. Facebook and Instagram are also under the scanner by Russian authorities, not just Twitter. Now, if you see all the big tech companies, they have big dreams and they want to expand as much as they can. Facebook had taken over VR headset company Oculus some time back. Now, recently, Facebook Reality Labs in a blog has said that they want to use neural wristbands to control AR glasses. Right? I mean, for those who don't know, VR is virtual reality, AR is augmented reality, and something that combines both is MR, mixed reality. So now Facebook Reality Labs wants to use neural wristbands to control AR glasses. Now, neural because you will have a wristband and the hand signals will travel via the spinal cord to your eye and brain. So they are really planning something on a big scale. Of course, it is many years away, and they'll also be using a lot of artificial intelligence to make this work. Facebook also has been concentrating on expanding Instagram even further. It has come out with Instagram Lite, which is just a 2 MB application for Androids, and it is targeting emerging markets, and it will launch in 170 countries. Now, in other small pieces of news, Paytm can turn now Android device phones into POS devices. So if you are a merchant and you have a Android phone and you have a Paytm app, you can convert it into a POS device. So that should give a boost in case you don't want to buy a POS device. Then the proposed Apple car may go ahead without an automotive company, and they may just rely on contract manufacturers to assemble the cars. So that's also an interesting thing that will pan out in the 2020s. Everybody is getting into smart cars. Of course, all the auto, it's not just Tesla and Triton we mentioned last time. It is also the automotive players and also non-automotive players like Apple. So Tesla is also in the news because it is coming out with a project to boost the Texas power grid. Now you may remember the one peculiar thing about the Texas power grid is it's not part of the national grid. In the US you have the western grid, the eastern grid, and you have the Texas grid. So Texas grid, usually the two grids, every state is part of a national grid by which a correction can happen. That's not the case with Texas. Texas always wants to go independent in doing such things. So now Tesla is coming out with a way, a battery, a widespread battery solution to come out to help with the Texas. And also Amazon Food has expanded in Bangalore. Again, it's not only going to be Swiggy and Zomato. A lot of other players are going to come into the picture. Finally, now if you remember, many years back, OTT, sharing your OTT password was very common. Now the OTT was why the sharing is allowed because one family has many members. So obviously you want 3-4 people to share one OTT password. But then it got extended to friends and all. And initially the OTT players didn't say anything because they wanted, these were all potential first-time customers. But now Netflix is looking to curb this, and it is sending verification codes to sort out this problem. So it will if you don't, it is not your if just the password will not be enough. So if you don't answer to the email ID or the phone, then you may not be able to watch Netflix on that device. And if that happens, then they will send a mail asking you to join in. Of course, this is happening for both security and economic reasons, but let's see what the impact will be. So on that note, here's ending this week's edition, and everybody have a good evening and have a great weekend.